"It was ever so good of Lady Phoebe to give you the day off," Mum called from the other room. Eva nodded, though Mum couldn't see it. "It feels almost sinful not to be working on a Tuesday." Officially, she had time off only on Sunday afternoons after church, but she happened to work as a lady's maid for a tolerant and thoughtful mistress, not to mention that Eva had helped Lady Phoebe's sister Julia, now Lady Annandale, out of a particularly doleful situation earlier this year. Phoebe and the entire Renshaw family were only too happy to grant Eva the occasional favour, though she would never take advantage of their kindness. Outside, movement caught her eye. There, down the road at the fork that led either west to the village of Little Barlow or north to the train depot, a little cloud of dust stirred in the air. A moment later, old Bessie's snub, rust-stained bonnet came into view. Soon, through the open windows, Eva could hear the trucks creaking and groaning and the chug-chug of her engine. "They're here, Mum," although it must have been a tight squeeze to fit Dad, Alice and 3 small children into the cab of the motor wagon. Eva was glad to see that none of them rode in the bed. She always grimaced at the sight of local children riding in the back of open lorries. But then, Eva didn't believe any seat in a motor car to be completely safe. They went too fast for her comfort, and all that jostling at high speeds couldn't possibly do a body any good. Mum shuffled into the room, realised she held a dish rag in one hand and still wore her apron, and doubled back into the kitchen. When she appeared again, she was smoothing her cotton frock, her second best, and patting stray brown hairs peppered with grey into place. Outside, old Bessie puttered to a halt in front of the house, and let out a hiss. Mum ran to open the front door, grabbing her shawl off the back of a chair on the way. When Eva expected her to hurry across the threshold, her mother instead went still, rather like old Bessie with her tyres gone flat. Eva peered out of the window to see into the truck. There, just inside the passenger door, was her sister's profile. Just then Alice turned, spotted Eva, and waved enthusiastically. She opened the door to hop out, and Eva heard a sigh from her mother. "Mum, what's wrong?" "Where are the children? Where are my Hannah, Lizzie, and Ollie Jr.?" Indeed, 3 small children should have poured out the door after their mother, but there was no one left inside. Alice went round to the back of the wagon and slid out her overnight satchel. Dad joined her there and hefted her larger portmanteau. Together, they came up the front path. "Mum, Eva, it's so good to see you both," she cried. She smiled broadly. "It's so jolly to be home." Before stepping outside, Mum cast Eva a look over her shoulder, and in that instant, Eva saw her effort to bring her features under control, to hide her disappointment. Eva felt a sense of letdown too. She had so looked forward to playing the indulgent auntie to her nephew and 2 little nieces. As her mother had said, it had been months and months since their visit at Christmas. "Here she is, all safe and sound." Dad shifted the weight of the trunk in his arms, and Eva noticed that he, too, worked to keep his expression amiable. "I didn't expect you to be here today, Eva," Alice said, after Mum had embraced her, inspected her appearance from head to foot, and declared her looking lovely, though a smidgen tired. Alice and Eva hugged and then stepped back to admire each other. Alice, Eva's senior by 3 years, had their father's eyes and Mum's dark hair, as did Eva, and like Eva, Alice's features drew from both parents. People had always said the Huntford sisters looked very much alike, but Eva was taken slightly aback now to detect the beginnings of crow's feet beside Alice's eyes, and lines that spoke of weariness around her mouth. Those lines deepened to brackets as Alice grinned. "How spiffing of the Renshaws to let you out for the day. You must have 'em wrapped round your little finger. They say a good servant eventually becomes the master, and the master the servant." "Do they? I've never heard that." "Well, let's not all stand outside for the neighbours' entertainment." Their father led the way into the parlour. With a grunt, he set the suitcase down against the wall. Dad had trimmed his beard short for the summer and sported a bit more of a paunch between his braces than he had last winter, a result of Mum's talents as both a cook and a baker. He gave his stomach a pat now as he scented the aromas coming from the kitchen, with a sideways glance at his elder.